Good day, everybody, and welcome to another version here of High Heat Digital Wise. Nice to have with us as we talked about what's going on as far as the world of baseball is concerned. High Heat, of course, returns on Monday, the 13th day of July. We will be on at 1 o'clock. We look forward to that. Today, with Mitch Green and Moses Messina, of course, Liberty Mutual. The voice of the Yankees is Michael K. Let's get some thoughts and say hello. Michael, nice to chat. How are you today, pal? Okay?
I'm great, Christopher. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm not sure if you've been to Yankee Stadium yet, but I'm sure you've gotten wind of how these workouts have gone. I know it's a little dicey with the media. What's your take here on the Yanks these first 4 or 5 days in the Bronx? Let me hear.
Have not been to the stadium yet, but we have, the Yes Network has broadcasted every single inter-squad game. I've actually done play-by-play from my house. Once the games start, the home games, at least we'll be doing the games from there, every single one. It's going to be tough. I mean, this is going to be compressed, and it's going to be difficult to get everybody their work. Remember, there's not as many mounds at a major league ballpark as there is at a spring training facility. So Aaron Boone and his staff have their work cut out for them.
Now, when the season begins, are you going to do all the Yankee games from Yankee Stadium? How are you going to do the 30 road games in that spot on Yes?
Well, that's still being decided. We know for sure we'll be doing the home games at Yankee Stadium, and whether or not we do the road games from our facility in Stamford or Yankee Stadium, that's still being discussed.
It is. Okay. Health-wise, do you sense that Stanton and Judge specifically will be raring to go there as far as July 23rd is concerned in Washington?
Yeah, I think so, Chris, other than a setback. Not much good has come from what's happening in the world right now, but for the Yankees having the season put on pause on March 12th actually helped them get healthier. They would not have had Stanton. They would not have had Judge. They would not have had Paxton if the season started the way it was supposed to on March 26th. So the only guy that they're really missing is going to be Luis Severino. He was going to miss the whole year anyway. So this time has allowed them to get healthy. They've already played Judge in the outfield, which is telling. Looks like Stanton, I think, is at least at the beginning, is going to start out as the DH, although they say his cap is well enough for him to actually play in the outfield. But the Yankees have so many outfielders, it probably makes sense to protect Stanton and have him be the DH.
LeMahieu with the virus, will he be raring to go in a couple of weeks? What can you tell me there?
It all comes down to whether or not when he tests negative. He's going to have to get a negative test before he comes back. So if it's right away, he has a chance. He's not a pitcher. This guy looks like he could roll out of bed in the middle of the winter and get hits. But the closer you get to July 23rd, if he doesn't at least have 2 weeks of at-bats, and I think we're right there right now, it's going to be tough for him to start.
How about Cole specifically? You think the Yankees will look at this year making sure he doesn't get hurt and just getting through his 8 starts, 10 starts, whatever it might be? Or do you think the Yankees, with the idea that they can win a title, because, they still are the favorites in a lot of ways, you think they're going to push their $324 million right-hander? What's your take on that?
I don't think they'll push him, but they will use him the way they would use him. He was on the mound for the second inter-squad game, Chris. He looked unbelievable. I mean, he threw 5 innings. I'm of the opinion that most starters, once the season starts, are going to pitch 4 or 5 innings. And that puts a big emphasis on how good a bullpen you have, whether you get off to a good start. But this guy, I'll tell you, Chris, he's too good to be true. He does everything right. He has a great attitude. He seems like he's a great teammate. He's a pitching savant. And he's already throwing 98, 99 miles an hour. So I think you give him his 12 starts and you say, go and pitch the way you normally pitch. But I don't think you use him every 4 days. I don't think you push him and have him start on short rest. That's a long-term investment the Yankees have. But I think they're going to use him this year the way they intend to use him if it was a regular season.
All right, how do I evaluate Boone? I know you're good buddies with Aaron. He's been there a couple of years. They have not won. It's not necessarily his fault. He learned from that first postseason losing to the Red Sox. He didn't really do any major issues last year against Houston. Is it a free year for Aaron where if they have a bad year, nobody's going to say anything because it's 60 games and it's kind of a weird thing? Or does he actually have some pressure on him that in his 3rd year he needs to get the Yankees in the World Series? How do I evaluate that?
Well, Chris, you've been around this area your whole life. So they built this team, obviously, to try to win a World Series. But I don't think you get a free pass, but I think you're going to be judged on a curve. Nobody has done this before. There's no handbook for how to do this. I think it's going to be very difficult to run camp and get everybody the work they need. I think Aaron Boone's a very, very good manager. What he did last year, winning 103 games with all of the injuries they have, I think the team plays for him. I think they like him. I think they respect him. He's not going to be out X'd and O'd by anybody else. So I think he's fine. And if this team could stay relatively healthy, although last year they weren't, he still got 103 wins. I could see the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series.
All right. What did you see with the schedule that you found interesting with the 60 games? Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, they got a chance at the end. The last 20 games are against teams that are not expected to be very good. The only negative in the last part of the schedule is I think they have 1 day off in the last 3 weeks. So that's going to be a little bit difficult. The beginning is tough. You know, obviously you're going to be playing the defending world champion Nationals. You play the Mets 6 times. So the Yankees' closest competitor, I think, in the East is going to be the Tampa Bay Rays. So while the Yankees are playing a good Mets team 6 times in their interleague games, while the Rays are playing the Marlins, who are not expected to be very good 6 times. So that's an advantage in a 60-game season. That's 1/10 of the season. I think the 10 games against the Rays are going to decide things. And one other quirk in the schedule is that the 10 games against the Red Sox, Chris, 7 of them are at Yankee Stadium. Although I'm not quite sure about what home field advantage means this year. They're not going to be fans in the stand. So the only thing about a home field advantage is your stadium's configuration.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, you don't have to be on a road either in a hotel. So that helped a little bit too. Yeah, I mean, the Yankees, I know that they're finished to their schedule with the Marlins. It could be an advantage as well. But how about you as a broadcaster doing all these games, whether it's in a studio in Stanford at the road games or in an empty ballpark at Yankee Stadium? That's going to be an adjustment. Let me get some sense on that. Go ahead.
It's going to be an adjustment. Obviously, doing the games in front of no stadium, in front of no crowd is going to be different. I spoke to Gary Thorne about it because he did the Oriole game where they played during the riots at Camden Yards and there were no fans there. And he said it was very, very odd. He said it was a situation where, you know, he called an Adam Jones double. And Gary, you know, has that booming voice. And Adam Jones was on second base and shouted up at the press box, "Shut up, Gary, we could hear you." So the players are going to hear everything that you say. So that's going to be difficult and odd. And then if the road game are doing it off a monitor, that's not going to be easy either because as a television broadcaster, I think it's like 50-50. I work off the field. I don't work off the monitor. So if you're going to work off the monitor, you have to have ultimate trust in the shots that the director is giving you. And sometimes you can miss things. You can't see where the outfielders are situated. So it's going to limit your broadcast. But I'm not going to complain about it. The fact that I'll be able to do a game is good enough for me.
Good job, Michael. Thank you. Always appreciate it. Good luck. Have a good year.
You got it, Chris. Thank you. Stay well.
You got it, Mr. K. Does a great job for us. Very good. Don't forget, Monday we start with High Heat. We will see you then. Raring to go there at 1 o'clock. Good job, Moses. Good job, Mitch Green. Well done, of course, as far as Liberty Mutual is concerned. We'll see you in a couple days. Adios.